When you see this, are you wondering if they are gonna fall out? Yeah, they totally do. Welcome back friends, this is Jessy here, and finally Moondrop Space Travel 2 and 2Ultra are there. Before we dive in, here's one thing. To chat with you guys easier about the earbuds or share my testing results or just some daily stuff, I just set up my Discord server and inks. You can find both of them linked on my channel page. Come and hang out, and if you got any questions, I'll be able to reply a lot faster there. So about Moondrop, most of the time I just focused on their IEMs like Variations, May, and a few other I don't really listen to much anymore. Their sound always has a very clear style, smooth, almost watery, pretty laid back, perfect for when you are stressed out or just burned out after too much intense listening. But when it comes to TWS, honestly they don't really keep up. Sound quality is the only real selling point. The noise cancelling, the battery life, nowhere can be called strong enough to compete in this market. So whenever I hear people say stuff like, oh, this is gonna crush the $30 market, I just laugh. That's the really cliche for every budget release now. And by the way, does $39.99 exactly scream $30 earbuds? So yeah, my bottom line is this isn't what I'd call a good pair of earbuds. But if you're already tired of the same tuning styles flooding the market, then maybe you'll find something to like here with the sound. And if you do find this video helpful, don't forget to drop a good one Jessy in the comments. It really makes my day. Now, what actually changed with the Space Travel 2? Well, the upgrades are mostly on the app features, the Bluetooth version, the diaphragm material, and battery life, which they say had been doubled, but honestly, it's like a kid scored a 10 in the first test and suddenly put a 20 in the second. Sure, that's a progress, but it's still not anywhere near the honor roll. So let's talk about something in the app. There is this quirky feature, the middle gain and high gain. At first, I was like, wait, what? Usually it's stuff like bass boost or vocal boost, right? But here, I had no idea what I was supposed to be gaining. So I switched it to the high gain just to see. And honestly, it just sounds louder. That's it. Okay, have my ear been wrecked by too much OnePlus testing? Then I checked their description and yep, it's basically just volume. This instantly reminds me of that joke about drinks at Starbucks. Tall, grande, venti. When I first put this on, I thought the volume was too low, maybe my phone gets some issue. But no, what they are really doing is making normal the new grande. And to actually feel satisfied, you kind of have to turn on that gain. Of course, once you go from small volume to a big volume, it feels better to your ears. Totally masterclass in compliance testing. Anyway, for today's sound test, I have to adjust everything to my usual testing volume, so it's fair. Let's see just how rough the ST2 sounds, how much the 2Ultra improves under AAC, and whether the LHDC presets on the Ultra are actually worth giving up manual EQ. So the bass looks like there is much gain, but it's mainly in the sub bass, so the presence is super weak. Kick drum sounds stiff. You hear the stick hit here, and then you get this multi-sub rumble here. The atmosphere just feels messy. They're using a 30mm composite diaphragm, but they didn't outline it and tighten it at all. Mids are recessed, so it's easy for other instruments around that range to steal your attention. Resolution isn't great. Vocals have too much air, so it comes hollow, like you just can't quite grab the voice. Upper mids and highs are pretty dull and kind muffled. Resolution drops hard, and once you hit around 6 kHz, there's that kind of rustling sound that kills the texture. Maybe that's their way to make vocals pop more. If you listen to solo piano or violin, you catch some extension and detail, but the texture's off. Honestly, violin starts to sound more like erhu strings. And hey, no shade to the erhu. And if not some solo, and add some electric guitar or ACG tracks, and it turns into a mess, like straight up harsh and grating. Everything crowds in from the back and bottom of the stage, so it feels cramped and cheap. Take something like Singnongo Sasageo for example. Okay, it's a hard track for a lot of earbuds to put it sound powerful and epic, but on the ST2, it's even like a gun of ropes yelling right in your face. Hey, give your heart to me! Absolutely zero charm, and honestly, just not worth listening to. So, the ST2 Ultra is basically built around vocals. It's like a whole album dedicated to your favorite singer. Both the lows and highs are tuned to highlight voices, and it does a pretty good job at that. It's running their Golden Age panel driver tech, which helps with treble extension and dynamic range. Let's see how it performs. Looking at the curve, it's nothing like the free fall. Bass barely has any boost, around 7 to 8 decibel, and it's roll off naturally. Background drums almost disappear. No extra bloom, no messy bass, just a clean single hit sits further back in the mix. And that way, vocals sit totally clear. And the vocal resolution is solid, very unprocessed, super flat. Feels like someone speaking right next to your ear. It keeps climbing all the way up to the 4 kHz before rolling off, which makes vocals sound bright and useful. Up to here, the tuning makes sense. Refined, vocal forward, detailed, but the treble kind of breaks the design. After 6 kHz, the roll-off is smoother than the ST2, but still uneven and lacking extension. Instruments end up stiff. Guitar tones pick up an electronic feelings, and the synth seems plasticky, which takes away from the vocal focus. Switch over to the L deck, change things. Bass barely moves, but vocals gain more texture, and treble gets extra details and extension. That pretty much fixes the AAC issues. Overall sound feels way more refined. Vocals remains in the spotlight. Instrument stays secondary, but at least the plasticky tone is gone, easily stepping up from a 6 out of 10 to about a 7.5. But with LDAC on, EQ adjustments are off the table. Honestly, I don't think it's a big deal. Their EQ isn't that useful anyway. You only get 5 sliders, each capped at positive 3 decibel. Looks precise, but in reality, every tick shifts a big chunk of nearby frequencies. For anyone who is not super into the whole hi-fi thing, their EQ can look kind of complicated. And maybe that's why they built this whole community feature, right? I tried one of the popular extra bass presets, and the effects was just lifting the whole curve. Sure, bass came up a bit, but vocals came up even more. At first, it sounds punchier, but vocal details got lost. Intimacy drops, and the character of the tuning is gone. To me, if a stock tuning already has its own character, EQ just kind of erased the designer's efforts. And you just can't even see other people's uploaded preset. Maybe that's their way of saying, hey, tuning is so hard, respect the detail we have already gave you. You may know from the very first moment, I just wasn't into the design. The case doesn't have a lid, and I can directly see the earbuds losing inside. My Ultra 2 even rattles when I shake it. And I believe I'm not the only one. Getting them out is annoying, and putting them back is even more annoying, like this. And then wearing them is honestly such a painful issue after a while. The shell sticks out in the back, and it just sticks into my ear. Testing this over time has been a torture, not gonna lie. And then there is the touch controls. The faceplate is everywhere. Every time I want to make it tighter, I end up pausing my music or calling the voice assistant. They even add this sound to let you know you triggered it. Cute idea, but in real use, it just shows how ridiculously easy it is to misstep. Just like a girlfriend who wants your hugs every minute. Trouble. Sometimes it takes multiple tries to connect, sometimes you have to reboot them, or sometimes you need to close the app and start all over again. Honestly, if it wasn't for me wanting to try out all the features, I would delete it right away. And the funny part is, the very first time I opened the app, I actually thought this weird upside down design on the start page was intentional. It feels annoying, but okay, maybe that's their style. Respect it. Later, when I talked with my friend, I found out it's just a random Easter egg. We turn on ANC, it makes this little sound, and honestly, it freaks me out every time. In my language, that's basically like saying lights out. So for a second, I thought something paranormal was going on. As for the ANC itself, because of the planner driver's better low-end performance, the Ultra handles bass a little better than the S2. So things like rumbling or air conditioner's noise get reduced more. Vocals are about the same. And looking at the curve, Ultra's treble suppression seems stronger, and I did test it multiple times. On paper, it's just like this, but honestly, in real use, I didn't notice much difference. Maybe you'll need a really special noise environment for that to matter. My guess is it comes down to changes in the inner body or driver structure. I mean, visually, the front and back chambers look identical, but the planner driver's vents are smaller and less featurable. This could explain the difference. Still, except the low-frequency part, it's basically the same. Tightening the feet makes a bigger difference than their so-called upgrade. So yeah, their logic is basically hand your trash, and they say, here's the upgrade version of that trash. Look how sincere we are. So here is my final scores. Honestly, I'd call it a masterclass in assuming what people may need and a masterclass in compliance testing. The only reason I say to get the 2Ultra is if you're into the different sound signatures or make it a backup pair for daily use. It can give you this quick moment of clarity, but as a main daily driver, no, it doesn't cut it. Now, if we're talking about earbuds under $40, and you want that kind of vocal focus, I'd actually recommend the $37 Ceramic Sax. It's a little cheaper, works across more genres, and the vocals are also refined, and you may not know Final literally copied it. That says a lot about its quality, right? It's also more balanced overall, with better ANC, better call quality, and more comfortable fit. But the app still sucks. And if you're curious about it, hop into my Discord and we can talk about it more there. And if you've got any questions, you can drop the earbuds model, your local price, and your own preference when you ask. That way, I can give you the most accurate advice. Alright, that's it for this video. Thanks for sticking with me. And if you found this helpful, drop a go on Jessy in the comment to show your support. And your likes and subscriptions means a lot to me. If there's any TBS you want me to compare next, leave a comment or join my Discord. I also post earbuds test and bits of my daily life on Ins, so I'd love to see you there too. See you in the next video. Go on Jessy. Let's play. Jenny, please grant me the best pair earbuds under $100. Oh, that's it! This is Jessy testing quality in this question. How do you feel the sound? Is it clear and can find out Jessy? And this is Jessy testing quality with strong noise. How do you feel the sound? Is it clear and can find with Jessy? This is Jessy testing call quality in this quiet room. How do you feel the sound? Is it clear and can find with Jessy? And this is Jessy testing call quality with strong noise. How do you feel the sound? Is it clear and can find with Jessy? While my friends said this sounds pretty good, in my own experience, the wind noise just got completely amplified into my ears. Even I can't pay attention to say something. So yeah, still not it.